All right, so we're going to start with the pledge of prayer. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My heads. My Father, just thank you, praise you for this day. We bless these members of the Exchange Club and the good that they're doing. Please watch over our servicemen and women as they fight for freedom across the world and help those that are away. Please bless us with our lives. Amen. Obviously, I'm not as cute as my wife is, but she's in Mandan training, so you get me today. What, that she's in Mandan, or that I'm not as cute as she is? Come on in. Hello. I was waiting till the prayer was done. Come on in, grab a seat. You're welcome to have lunch with us.
I gotta go deliver meat, but
Okay.
they told me just to come speak real quick about this because you guys scheduled me for next month.
Okay.
So I didn't want to take up anybody's time if anybody else was speaking.
Sure. Made you care if you just knock it out quick?
Okay.
Sure.
I'll be your, is anybody familiar, I guess, with Veterans Meat Locker?
Oh, sure.
Okay, great.
Love it.
Just real quick, when I was talking about, did he give you anything about what the raffles were?
He said that there was a buffalo hunt raffle, and that was always said.
And well, what I had planned was, and I know how there's always a competition thing. And so what I was going to do is talk with breakfast downtown in the West End. And I was going to see, since fundraising is limited with what's going on right now. And so what I was going to do was try to see if I could get all the clubs involved and see if they'd be interested in a pit against each other and see who we could sell the most tickets. And then we're going to buy and build a revolving trophy, because this is our annual fundraiser that we do once a year. This fundraiser will raise the proceeds that we need for the processing. And since we're all free and do this in our free time, no paid staff, this is pretty, I guess, vital for us, because as of right now, like our processing for this year in 3 months is $25,000 right now. So as I tell everybody, 100% of these proceeds. So if you'll see that this raffle here being $10, we're making 10,000 tickets. So now I'm not saying that we'll sell all them, but being that this has been out a week already, we've sold 3,000 tickets already. So this is kind of vital, and this is the way I figured at the exchange clubs that I'm going to go out there and kind of push it. That if the clubs wanted to be a part of this, we'll incite that, I guess, competition. And already that we had on your guys' behalf, you're the first ones I've talked to. You've already had 50 tickets already purchased on the Heights behalf. So if the Heights is interested in this, said this is the first one I went to. I haven't went to the other ones. If you guys want to do this, I'll go and tell the other ones. But if you guys want to be the first ones that we'll talk to, and if you're getting a game for it, then we'll go, because I know this is a lot, less people with the Heights there. That's why I think the individual threw in already 50 towards you guys. So if you're interested, this buffalo hunt, said being this is our annual fundraiser. What this hunt is it's a harvest. Can't say it's a hunt. Pretty much, it's a guaranteed buffalo. And if anybody's shot a buffalo, this is an amazing feat. But it's out between Raffle and Columbus, and the winner gets to go shoot this trophy bull. This is a 2,000-pound plus bull. This is a genuine trophy. We pay for that. The guide, the hunt is a harvest. We paid for that already, and the winner gets to go shoot the animal, and then we're paying the basic processing for it, so $500, and then we're paying the taxidermist to do the European mount, the skull, and the tan hide. And if anybody's ever had anything tanned, you pay by the square foot, so that's about $2,500 to $3,000 for that hide. And then if they want to do a shoulder mount, which I totally recommend because this thing is huge, that credit for that stuff will go towards the shoulder mount. So we're forking up $10,000 for this package to make sure that nobody can touch what we're doing. So I guess I could say it sells itself, because this also is for any out-of-stater. So you can promote it that they can purchase this out of state, because there's no tag required. Any age of individual can shoot this. Of course, purchasing the ticket is still considered gambling. But so the winner has to be, somebody above age to gamble. But anybody can go shoot this. No tag required. Anybody out of state can come do it. And this shoot will be in December of this year. So this is something that we totally take care of. So it's not like individuals think that they buy the raffle, win the buffalo, and then we get the meat. Nope, they keep everything. So this is something everyone doesn't understand how we're giving this away. And it's like, well, it's something that nobody else does. So it's something that sells itself. So if you're interested, I can leave you. I got 3 posters here, and if you do 100 tickets, we can always get more. But if you're interested, I'll leave it to you. Sure. And then I can talk to your guys' organization about what the Meat Locker does more or less next month. So is that good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Leave one for you.
Perfect. Way to go, Chad. It was in the email.
Anything else I could answer? Anything? Say my name, numbers on there, and all that good stuff. He said any checks made out to the Veterans Meat Locker, all that good stuff, and then of course said it's open out of staters anybody. So, any questions? Short and sweet. Now I'll go deliver meat.
Awesome. Thanks for coming. Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah.
All right, so today we have Ming and Laura with the Heights Water District, or candidates for. So we'll just turn it over to you guys.
Stand anywhere, I guess?
Anywhere you want. I can turn this.
Well, that's okay. Thank you. Appreciate it. My name is Ming Cabrera. Yeah, could you close that window?
Yep.
There, please? Thank you. Appreciate it. And thanks for your time here. And all the good that you're doing. My kids did a few things that you guys did. I think you do the speech needs, don't you, and stuff like that. Is that yours? Used to be.
Used to.
Yeah. And I think I won a trip like a long time ago to Canada. But yeah, it was a lot of fun what you guys have done, and I appreciate it. But anyway, back to the business at hand. How many of you guys get a Heights water bill here in the Heights? 1, 2, 3. How many of you guys are getting city water bills? Okay, and then how many of you are just playing on wells? Pretty much is what we're going. Well, let me just give you a little history of what's gone on since 1956. The Montana Rural Water District started here in Billings. I don't know. I wasn't born yet. I was born in 1975. But this is what they told me. But no, I remember when I was a kid, I used to live on the Huntley Project, and we used to come here up to Billings through the old highway. And at that time, Heights was nothing. It was just a little rural farming community. Not much here. Bobby Popelka's dad owned half of the town back here, and it was all farmland back in those days. And, that's what he inherited. I don't know if he was Bobby Popelka, the family, or Jim, but anyway, they've been around quite a while. What happened in 1956, they started a charter to get rural water to the Heights area. They never thought back in 1958 that we'd have 30,000 people in the Heights. So you get 2 bills. One, you get your bill from the Heights Water District, correct? Which averages about $70, $80 a month. And the other one is for the water of the sewer department, which you pay to the city. All your wastewater goes out. So when I bought my building across the street here, where the Okinawa was, I said, why am I getting a bill for $250 for water when I'm paying property taxes for what I thought was water and wastewater? So no, we're 2 separate systems. We have Heights Water that buys their water from the city. Okay, they buy their water from the city through a contract, and then they bill everybody else for the water. We still pay our sewer and water department. So take a look at your bills, because you're paying 2 bills. On your property taxes, you pay for your wastewater and you pay for your Heights water. So anyway, that was in 1958. Things have been going on for 63 years, and now we're coming to a headstand as to what we're going to do in the future here in the Heights. And like me and a lot of you people, we're invested here in the Heights. I'm definitely invested in the Heights because I've got this property. Okay. And when I bought this property and up to this time, I'm looking at, my God, I'm getting what, $14 to $16, $15 to $18 a square foot for my property, where in the West End, it's $32 a square foot. Why are we still the damn adopted stepchild of Billings, Montana after all these years? Why don't we have anything but 2 grocery stores in the Heights? Okay. Why don't we have a big box store? Or, I hate to take business away from Ace or my friend, but why don't we have that? These are things that we need to increase our development of the Heights people. With 30,000 people, 30,000 people in the Heights. Can you imagine? We're as big as Butte, Montana, with all the amenities. How many of you guys go to West End to buy your screws and nails? To Home Depot, pretty much, or restaurants. or anything, because there's a limit to what we have here in the Heights. Well, 4 years ago, I ran for legislature to try to get infrastructure moving to push Billings Heights better. Now, we've got a person like Jennifer who's just been wonderful and a fought hard. And guess what we got now coming in the next 5 years? $100 million into the Heights. And it just makes my spine tingle with the thought that we actually got money coming in. We've got new parks coming in. We've got a Castle Rock Park that's going to look fantastic. We've got a Lockwood bypass coming in that's going to bring a lot of business this way. And then we've got the inner belt loop, which we're still fighting to happen. But we're going to have it so we don't have one funnel for everything on Main Street, so we can bring development to the people here in the Heights. And it's been a long time coming, and there's a lot of things that we need to do to make that happen. Well, why the water board? You know, I'm going to spend the next 4 years to fight for a water board. I mean, my God, I get paid $150 a month, I suppose, you know, to be on this water board, you know, but it's because of the development, you know. Personally, with my building there, I don't want $14 to $18 a square foot. I want to be on par with what the rest of the West End is getting. And I want people to enjoy being in the Heights rather than having to go to the West End. So that is my thought, what I've been looked at for the next 4 years. And God bless the Heights Water. They've done their job for the last 60 years to get water to us. But God bless, we've got to bring development to get ready for this $100 million that's coming into this country, into this area. And the only thing we need to do is get the people that are business people and developers to get ready for it. This is what I'm considering at this point. Like I know Mr. Fitchner, your family, for Big and Laurel, and they know how important it is to develop. That's my background is I'm on the Heights Business Association, which we're starting out. We're trying to get businesses aligned here to get ready for this growth. So those are the two things that I'm doing to make sure this happens. And hopefully I can get on the water board to look at this. What I want is transparency on the Heights Water Board. How many people know anything about the Heights Water Board except that there's a voting thing? Anything else? Pretty much it. That's it. They don't really post their agendas. They don't post the minutes. And God darn it, they don't even send out RFPs for any of the contracts out there. So who is getting all these contracts for the last 50 years on their contracts to build different pipes and stuff? Nobody knows. So that's what I want to do is I want to make sure that we've got a way that we can look at this and make this happen. And I feel that they've done a good job, but we've got to get better. We've just got to get the businesses involved and get people that are new into the area. The people that have been on the board have been on it for 20 years. A lot of people have been contractors on the board. I have nothing to do with the board. I have nothing except pay my bill. Okay, so I'm not a contractor. I'm not looking out for anything special. But what I want to do is develop the Heights, just like you guys are doing with the schools and with the things. So that's what I want to do. I want to mention that Josh Benson, who owns the Guadalajara restaurant right now, is under contingency whether he's going to vote. So I want you to remember that name if he's on the ballot. He's going before the lawyer today to see if he can keep his ballot to be on that water board. Laura Drager and I are really looking forward to moving our business. Now, the other thing I need to help you understand is the fact that one of the things the Heights Water Development Board has done was they have sued the city millions of dollars about water. Okay, they will not accept the appointments of the city or the county at this point. They refuse to sit the county appointment and the city appointment, which are guaranteed. We've even had to go to the state legislature to make amendments to make sure that these people can be appointed to the water board. They cannot act autonomously any longer, but have to have some kind of overseer on this whole thing. So that's what I'm gonna, which I'm pushing for. So that's all I've got to say. I really need your vote. I'm just doing it for the business development and what we can do in the future, because in the next 5 years, this whole town is going to change, the Heights. And I'm hoping that we finally become a part of the city of Billings. Anybody have any questions before I leave it for this one?
What is the election?
The election, okay, good question. Ballots will go out next week, April 14th. Get your ballot in by May 4th. just remember Ming the Merciless, Dragon, Laura Dragon, and Josh Henson Benson is what I always say. To put those 3 people, because they're not part of the old board. There's 7 people running on that board, but just remember Benson and Hedges, the Dragon, and Ming the Merciless, and you've got it made. So that's all I'm asking.
So how many open positions are there?
3.
There's 3.
We need to take over the board. There's 7 people on the board, 3 old people. If we get 4 on there with the county and the city appointment, we'll make sure that we have open meetings, agendas, everything is there so people will realize what we can do. And that's been what I feel has stopped the development of the Heights. We're still back in 1950s under a Rural Water Association rules. We need to bring it back to this level to bring us forward at this point. So,
And how long are you elected for?
4 years.
It's a 4-year.
Yeah, so far,
So
we really don't know. We've never had an election before. Never had one, really. Okay, we forced it, is what it came to, because we were dissatisfied with what was going on, or so they say. But whatever the case is, we want to definitely move it on. So, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
what area is?
Most of it is interesting to understand, but most of it is below the ditch this way, going west, okay? And then over here on Bench, this way, okay? And it just, and that's why I asked if you're getting a water bill or you're getting a city bill. Because some of the, what they've done is some of the contractors are so mad, they couldn't get, they were cost charging so much for their connection fees with Heights Water. They built their own connections to the city. Because they were paying way more. For example, let's say Chief Medicine School, the elementary school versus the one out there, Bedsteel. Price between the connection is almost $100,000.
More for the Heights,
More for the Heights. Yeah, 100,000.
for the exact same school.
This building here, we built the Taj Mahal to hook up to the Heights Water Board. We're in the city. So that's the problem. Nobody with business savvy and the contractors. If you're moving to the Heights, look out. Run away as fast as you can. You can't develop it without paying those connection fees. And so that's what we're trying to do.
So if I don't get a city water bill, so I'm not gonna be in the election.
You're not in the election, but just tell people that are surrounding, where do you live at? Possibly.
I'll feel like people.
Yeah. You don't have one out there. You get the city water out there. Yeah, so that doesn't, this really doesn't concern you, but it will in the future, especially with being a belt loop. That development is gonna be fantastic. So those are things that we need to, rather than going west all the time, west end, why not here? We're 5 minutes away from the airport. You know, we've got one of the best schools, Skyline, out there in this area. So we can just make things better for the Heights people, not having to drive to the west end all the time. That's what I like. So, thank you.
Thanks, Ming.
Thanks, Lord.
So I left each of you a sheet so you can read all about me. I'm Laura Drager. I'm a broker with Remax of Billings, and I'm married to John Drager, the owner of NCI Quality Windows, Doors, and Siding. And I am a Montana native. I've lived in Billings since 1981, and I've been a property owner in the Heights since 1985. I'm pretty vested in the Heights, and I'm really passionate about living out here. When I first moved to the Heights, we had a Universal Athletic, we had a movie theater, we had a drive-in theater, we had a bowling alley, and all of those things have gone by the wayside. And I'm not going to say that all of that is related to the Heights Water Board, but a good portion of that is. I talked to Randy down at Econoblast. He was renting over here from the owner of K2 Spas, and then he built that new building over beyond Bench. And he asked me, where were you 3 years ago when I was trying to deal with the Heights Water Board? Because it was a very expensive proposition for him. I had housewives from Lockwood messaging me on Facebook saying, I'm so glad that you're doing this. In Lockwood, we don't want to drive all the way to the west end and deal with all that traffic. We like the smaller community feel. We want to support the Heights. Out here, we have one grocery store. So we do come to the Heights to support the Walmart, the Ace Hardwares, things like that. But we would really like to see places to go for our date nights, you know, the bowling alley, the movie theater, things entertainment wise, more family oriented. And those are the kind of developments that are being stopped because the developers can't come in and put in those kinds of amenities and turn a profit. So as a realtor, I was sitting at one of the office meetings at Remax. Oh, this has been a year and a half ago. And I said, I don't understand. There's nothing going on in the Heights. We have all this available land. People could come and develop, you know, and we're, like Ming said, we're the size of Butte. So our population, why is this not happening? And Jace Norsworthy, who is a broker in our office, said, well, Laura, let me tell you a story. He said, I had a group of developers. We wanted to go out and build some affordable housing in the Heights. And when we contacted the Heights Water District, it was going to be $220,000 for us to connect. He said, Laura, that was more than our entire profit on the project. There was absolutely no way we could do that. One of my friends is Tam Rodier. She works for the city of Billings, and she manages the federal block grant where they go in and they find homes that are either need to be updated, flipped, if you will. That's a term we all recognize, or demolished and rebuilt. So she has a property at 930 Stefanich Drive out here in the Heights. And she had taken, I mean, because it's a federal grant, there's an enormous amount of paperwork that goes with the development of any one of these projects. So she'd gotten through all the paperwork, gotten everything in order, had the contractor send them out, went to the Heights Water and said, okay, we need to get a permit. We're going to demolish the house because it's just not feasible to, you know, to refurbish. So we're going to build a new house. And so he went and he said, well, that's going to be a $1,700 fee you have to pay to do this. And she's like, what do you mean? Well, because it's a federal grant, she doesn't have the ability to just spend $1,700. There are things that she can spend that money for. So the contractor came back, they worked out a plan. She went to the city, she got approval from the city for the funds for the $1,700, sent the contractor back to the Heights Water Board. Now it was $3,700. By the time they were done, they were asking for almost $7,500. And their excuse was that they were going to be losing out on revenue from this property while it was being built. Tam said, I don't get this. This house has been disconnected from city services, from Heights Water for over 3 years. You haven't made a penny on this property in 3 years. Why? So long story short, Tam is one of these people that she's a real go-getter and knows her stuff really well, but you don't want to make her angry because then she just sort of digs her heels in. And so we now have a vacant lot sitting at 930 Stefanich Drive that could have been affordable housing for a family out here in the Heights. So one of the things that I'd like to see, Ming talked about the $110 million worth of projects that are coming in. I would like to see development come in. I'd like to see businesses have the opportunity to open and be successful in the Heights. And what that will do is it will bring people and give them jobs. Well, as a realtor, people need to live someplace. So I'd like to see some affordable housing coming in. And I think that that would be a really good thing to have happen. We've talked with builders, we've talked with developers, and they all have said dealing with the Heights Water Board or the Water District is a nightmare. And so that was one of the reasons that I wanted to get involved, was so that I can help to update the quality of life. People have something to do, bowling, movies, a place to work, a place to live. And I think that that would really enhance our quality of life and our community here in the Heights. So I talked a little bit about what I'm passionate about, why I'm running. Some things about me, I have 35 years experience in the electrical distribution industry, and I've worked all over the United States, domiciled always out of Billings Heights. What that means is I got to live here and I got to work in wonderful places. I worked in Dallas, Orlando. I had an office in Orlando, had a team of people who worked for me there. What we did down there was we developed policies and procedures for the North America, all of North America, for a $1.2 billion company. So one of the things that I would bring to the table is the ability to take a look and find out, do we have standard operating procedures? And if not, let's develop some so that everybody knows what the rules of the game are, and we have a level playing field. Early on in my career in the electrical industry, I was a project manager on some very large electric utility infrastructure projects. What I did there was I was responsible for going out for RFPs, requests for proposal or RFPs, bid evaluation, material management, and material procurement and material management. And that's no small feat when we're talking about bringing, a $1.2 million transformer across the border from Mexico and having it placed in Wright, Wyoming. I worked very closely with the engineers at SSR. I think they're HDR now. SSR Engineering is now HDR, but very closely with those engineers. So I'm really familiar with infrastructure projects, and I understand how that business flows. So that's another value that I would bring to the Heights to the Heights Water Board. Let's see, what else? Oh, commitment to community. I was the branch manager at Border States Electric, and while I was there, I was able to promote. I mentored 2 of my employees to become the regional leadership development. Both of those individuals grew up in the Heights, Eric Keller and Wiley Taylor. Some of you might know Wiley. His dad owns the tire shop down there in Montana. So I mentored both of them. They both were in the regional leadership development program. They currently hold leadership positions within the region of Border States. As I was at Border States, one of my commitments was to the community. It was important to me that all kids learn to read. So I partnered with the United Way and the the Children's Clinic, one of the doctors there, and we brought a program to Billings called Reach Out and Read. And through my corporate sponsorship with the company I work for at Border States, we sponsored that program, solely funded it for 3 years. And so every child from the age of about 6 months to a year old, for every doctor appointment that they had, received a book that their family could read with them and help them learn to read and increase their opportunities for education and just reinforce that importance of reading. So I am committed to the community. I'm involved in the Heights Task Force. This morning, I just came from the Parks Board. I was appointed as the Heights representative for the Parks and Rec Board by the city Mayor Cole. And as a realtor, I'm busy selling houses. So what else do you want to know about me? Any questions? Oh, one thing that Ming brought up was that the Heights Water Board is suing the city. They're involved in a lawsuit. One of the things a lot of the ratepayers don't know is that when a rural water board is involved in litigation, they are unable to bond infrastructure projects. And how that impacts your ratepayers is the fact that because they can't bond, the water district then becomes fully financially responsible for all of their infrastructure projects. And who pays for that? The ratepayers. So that would negatively impact the ratepayers. So they currently have 3 suits pending, with 2 with the city of Billings and 1 with Yellowstone County. So I don't think that our current board are acting in the best interest of the ratepayers for the Heights Water Board. And I think I would really be a good candidate, a good member of that board, a strong supporter for the ratepayers, and I would really appreciate your vote on May 4th. Thank you. I think I'm better in person. What do you think, Jen? That Zoom call just hasn't going.
All right, well, the only other two things we have on our agenda here are just reminders that April is Blue Mondays. So if you wear blue in honor of child abuse prevention, not child abuse, but prevention of child abuse, just wear blue, and then I think Jody can get pins or buttons or something if you really want to, but it's just kind of a silent way of showing your support. And then just the other thing he wanted me to talk about was just real quick, that district exchange convention is coming up. If you would like to do that, let us know. I haven't heard from anybody. I think Jody and I might try to make it just because we like to do that kind of thing. Sherman's not good. I haven't heard if Sherman's going or not, but if we go, it's on us, so it's all good. So, any questions? Anything anybody else wants to bring up before we break for lunch?
Just April 24th is bright and beautiful, so we're going to be cleaning up the streets and trash on Saturday morning. So.
Yep. Cool. All right. Well, we'll break there and go get some lunch, and we'll let Jim and David take off, and